MMA news time, Mason. You know where we got to start.
Oh, we have to start here. We absolutely have to start here.
I can't wait. We said we'd never talk about this guy ever again on the podcast.
Oh, and yet we are. And boy, where do we even begin with this guy?
I guess we got to start with him being cut, right?
Yeah. Let's talk about obviously legend, future Hall of Famer Diego Sanchez being cut from the UFC. And you know what? There's no one else to blame outside of Joshua Fabia, this fucking dickhead dipshit. I cannot stand this guy. I have never seen someone so ego-driven and always have to interjecting himself into every fucking conversation. Wherever he's at, he's got to be the center of attention. And no, I'm just talking. I mean, this guy is literally a scam artist.
Yeah. In
my opinion, he is the biggest fucking scam artist of all time. And it's so sad. And I know we talked about it a year ago and we said we'd never bring up this guy again. But he, I think, is the sole reason why Diego got cut from the UFC. And he only had one fight left. This guy just can't help himself.
Well, let's give context. So the reason why Diego was cut from the UFC is apparently Joshua Fabia called the medical staff at the UFC or someone in the UFC high up. It wasn't Mick Maynard, the lawyer, and it was not Sean Shelby.
It was Hunter.
Was it Hunter? Well, it wasn't. No, Hunter Campbell's the lawyer. That's right. He's the head law guy for the UFC, the lawyer on staff. So it wasn't him he called. He called someone else asking for every single medical record.
Yep.
Since Diego's very first fight.
Mm-hmm.
And that threw up a red flag because apparently somehow these medical examiners or whoever Fabia was talking to in the first place got told that we need to look into this because maybe Diego is suffering long-term effects over the course of his career. And that threw up a massive red flag in Hunter Campbell's eyes.
Yeah.
Massive red flag. So what does that mean? Does that mean that Diego is suffering brain damage or suffering something of that effect? Or is he going to be put into a fight where he has a broken bones or something like that? And then they call Fabia back, and of course they release this message. They release the full phone call. They call him back, and he goes, no, we just want to make sure that once the time comes when Diego is retired that we know everything that is wrong with him. So when it comes to healing and stuff like this is what he was saying, that we absolutely know everything.
Yeah.
And then they said, we need in writing that Diego is not suffering long-term effects of his career because we are not going to put a man in the octagon that is suffering medical issues, I guess you would say. It was strange.
Very strange. But, and it is kind of a complicated scenario or whatever, or what you want to say, because as we were talking about earlier off air, you can't ever say that a fighter is never going to have any long-term effects when he's been fighting for 10, 15 years.
17 years.
17 years.
That's such a long
Since
career,
The Ultimate Fighter, season 1?
Yeah.
The very first one. So it's that's a long time, to be fighting. And to say that you have no lasting long-term effects is a hard case to make. But on that same side of the token, I understand why they ask for that, because when you have a little slithering little snake in the grass like Joshua Fabia, this guy is going to try to do anything he can to sue the UFC, to try to make any money off the UFC so he can manipulate Diego and take money from him. Because if Diego wins a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, who do you think is going to get part of that money?
Fabia. And then that sets a precedent that now everyone that's ever fought in the UFC that is suffering long-term effects, which everyone that ever fights in the UFC will suffer long-term effects. Let's be real. They're getting punched in the face.
And I want to put this on the record, too. I'm obviously not a law expert. I don't know anything. I'm a dummy, and this is just my personal opinion from what I'm seeing. But still, nonetheless, man, I wouldn't trust a guy like that. Yeah. I wouldn't trust a guy like Joshua Fabia, especially when you start doing this. It's bro, this is the last fight on the guy's contract. Just let him go out there and fight. If Diego wants to go out there and fight Donald Cowboy Cerrone, let him fight. Why does this guy always have to start shit in the UFC? I mean, you think about it. Look about Dean Thomas and Matt Serra, on Fight Island. Joshua Fabia interjects in the conversation while they're just having breakfast, and Dean is recording this conversation. And Joshua's like, oh, why are you talking bad about me in the podcast? And it's dude, What is your beat? Like, why do you have to go around and just start shit with everyone in this organization? If you don't like it, bro, leave. Who the fuck are you? You're not even a coach.
And I can't believe they released that video of them in the fighter meeting.
Well,
And they were lecturing the commentators like, you guys are adding to the shit talk. I'm sure you see everything online that's all about me.
Well, dude,
and now people are shit talking me. He
it
made it all
was-
about himself.
I know. He made it. That's literally all this guy does and makes it about himself. He is like, I'm dead serious. I've never come across a guy or seen a guy who's got such as big as ego as this Joshua Fabia
if I see
guy.
this guy in the street that's on site,
Okay.
just slap the shit out of him. He fucks
No,
me
you
up.
wouldn't
No, he'd have a
actually do
knife.
that.
Remember when he's chasing everybody in the octagon with a knife? Everything's a knife. Everything's a knife.
Yes. Yeah, that's what he was saying. But
He's a whack job.
he's a whack job. Yeah,
It's fucking
in all
crazy.
seriousness, yeah, he's an absolute whack job. And I'm good riddance.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here, Diego. Dude, you got to dump this guy.
He never
Like, I
will.
don't know
That's
what-
the problem is,
I know.
and Diego's enabling this man.
Yeah.
Like, I love Diego, and I have a lot of respect for the guy. He's a legend of the game, but I mean, at some point, it's like, you're enabling this.
Yeah, but Diego's always been one of those. Diego's kind of a weird guy where he's into like the crystals and stuff like that. Like things that most human beings wouldn't be interested in. Like Diego is very susceptible to that kind of stuff. Like just based on what I've watched and witnessed over the 17 years that he's been in the UFC, he's just kind of a different guy, and it's just kind of sad that he's getting taken advantage of, and kind of a stain on the overall incredible career that Diego Sanchez has had. It kind of just sucks that it had to end this way with someone as fucking stupid as Joshua Fabia.
Let's be real. It came down to, I think they were planning on suing the UFC.
I know they were.
I think they were.
Why
I think
else
that's
would
what
you
it came
do
down
that?
to.
Why else would you do that?
Business perspective.
Yeah.
It was a good idea. It was probably a good idea on Hunter Campbell to make them put it in writing that he is not suffering long-term effects as of right now, or else we're not putting him in the octagon. And then when he refused to do it, and Diego put out that Instagram live saying it was my lawyers and my team saying that if I do this, that waives all my liability rights and all my medical rights to future treatments and stuff because of the effects of my career.
Well, think about how that would have looked. And this is, again, the snake mentality of Joshua. When you ask for paperwork, right, and the UFC doesn't give it to you, and then Diego goes out there and he gets knocked out, and then he goes to the hospital and, something happened, boom. Well, the UFC, that's literally a case right there. The UFC wouldn't give us paperwork. We didn't know what was going on with Diego. I mean, they could have went to a private doctor, and something could have been wrong with Diego, and then not told the UFC, and then the UFC not giving them that paperwork, and then he could have sued him over that. Like, you don't trust a guy like that. And not only that, but like Diego Sanchez is clearly was on the tail end of his career. Obviously, this is more of a legacy fight than anything else. So why even take the risk?
Yeah,
they're not even talking about a champion or anything like that. And like, yeah, it's so frustrating, man. I hate that guy, and I'm so pissed at what he did to Diego. It's just fucked.
It is fucked. I feel bad for Diego, but at the same time, I mean, as I said, he is enabling this guy, so it does suck. I wish it would have ended on a better note. I wish he would have fought Cowboy. Let's be real. He's losing that fight, right? He's losing
I
the
had
Cowboy
in
fight,
that fight for sure.
without a doubt. I mean, you could make arguments Diego should have retired a long time ago. You really could have.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, obviously the guy is going to have long-term effects from this career. I mean, he went to fucking war with people. That freaking, what was the fight? Everyone talks about it. Clay Guida.
Yeah.
The Clay Guida fight when they were just fucking throwing with reckless abandonment.
I was actually at the International Fight Week for that. When that fight got inducted to the Hall of Fame, it was the same year as Bisping got inducted to the Hall of Fame. But yeah, dude, it was cool. It was cool to see Clay Guida give a speech and everything. Diego actually had a fight that weekend, so he didn't show up to the Hall of Fame, but Clay Guida gave a little speech. It was cool, man. It was a good time. There was also a giant earthquake that happened during that, and I was in the stadium for it, or the Caesar's Palace or wherever it was. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it was wild. It was a wild time.
The good thing about all this is now we'll never have to fucking talk about Fabia ever again. And if there's a UFC fight, like I know we're probably not on the radar of a whole lot of fighters, but if you're listening to this and you are a UFC fighter, stay the fuck away from this guy.
Oh, well, I think everyone knows
realized that. I mean, all it took was that fucking video of everything's a knife. He's running with guys with a knife in his hand.
No, it's just literally anytime this fucking asshole opens his mouth, you know he's full of shit.
Yeah.
Like he exudes
Scumbag.
shit all day. Like he's an absolute scumbag.